Oh man, are you guys ready for this? RAWM Leviathan V4. This was a very much hyped up mouse. So let me go ahead and make the tweet about it. And I'll put the image also in the tweet. And we're going to post that and see if we get people from Twitter joining us. There we go. All right. Let's go watch our lo-fi chill beats. There's no extra skates. What? Be careful. Oh no. Let's talk about the RAWM Leviathan V4. So the format of this, I'm going to try to timestamp, and I'm going to talk about some shape comparisons and review the mouse. Then we're going to get into a Q&A. Then we're going to do a disassembly. So let's first do a little bit of introduction as we do an unboxing. 54 gram weight. Where did I put my beautiful RAWM Leviathan box? There we go. We've got, and let me also bring up chat here too. The box is actually quite nice. I like that mice are kind of doing themes nowadays. Leviathans are a sea monster, right? That's like what a Leviathan is. Hence the kind of watery aesthetic. We've got, here's some dimensions. 127 millimeters long. It's a long boy. 64 millimeters wide and 40 millimeters tall. If I'm struggling, I'm trying to get this out here. There we go. Inside the box, I actually don't think... Have I even unboxed this? I might have not unboxed this, even though I friggin' have the mouse. Here's what the dongle looks like, by the way. The dongle's pretty cool. It's decently hefty. I guess I have a scale right here. It has a single button on the top for pulling rate. Side USB. Maybe it would have been nice if the USB was like on the back. 20 grams. There you go. 20 grams, 0.00. I wonder if they did that on purpose. And let's take a look at the Curvy Viper V3. Where's Nova? Yeah, she on the bed sleeping. She might come join us. We'll see. We've got grip tape. It looks like the kind of okay grip tape. And we've got a cable that is stiff AF. Wow. Might be like a good one to charge your phone in your car or something, though. That's what I actually use. Like, it's kind of annoying when mouse cables are like the super... Yeah, unpopular thing, right? We went from like, we were wanting thin, flexible cables, and now because everyone just uses things wirelessly, I don't know, I kind of want like a nice quality, beefy cable nowadays to use as a charger. What else we got here? That's it for the box. Okay. Specs are 3950 sensor. We've got the Nordic 54L15 MCU in this, so you're going to get absolutely amazing battery life. I already went over the dimensions, 127 by 64 by 40. And I bought this with my own money, though I think RAWM is actually sending a review unit also. 54 gram weight. Renmo Electronic Company Limited. Also, I think RAWM, they make RAWM stand for Run Away With Me. Oh my gosh, I need to... Oh my gosh, the pings. So, the mouse itself. Let's first talk about shape. I think that's what most people care about. A lot of people compare this to a Viper V3 Pro, and that is a decent comparison. It is not a direct clone, though. So in terms of length, we have a pretty similar length, though like the kind of button height looks a little bit different here. There's the
Remember
bases.
the mismatched MCUs.
And alright, I'm gonna have to turn off chat for a moment. So we have nice large skates on the bottom. We have tapering to the sides, long mouse, somewhat of a back hump, though not very obvious. Let's talk about shape. So we have quite a bit of side curvature here. The sides are still rather vertical. Little bit more taper though than the Viper V3. So if I don't have calipers with me, but just going based on grip width, the RAWM is maybe ever so slightly thinner right at the grip width, perhaps maybe 0.5 millimeter. It's not super obvious. The Viper's sides come a little bit more vertically up and then come to a pretty subtle ridge here along the flanks. Whereas the RAWM, the sides do come up with a little bit more angle to them. And then that ridge, there is a little bit of ridge. I guess I don't really know how to describe the difference between the two ridges. The RAWM's is more obvious on the back here, but the Viper V3, yeah, is a little bit more soft. Actually, despite the shape, this looks like a more rounded Viper V3, but it is actually a little bit more soft, at least here on the Viper. The side flare, yeah, I would say it's definitely more than a Viper V3. And that's something that you'll notice. I actually think I might like the RAWM shape a little bit more. The clicks here, the finger grooves and the clicks. Let's see. The Viper does actually a pretty good job of, like, if you, regardless of where you grip, the grooves are pretty consistent. The RAWM, I think, is a little bit flatter, though it has these sides here that you can definitely feel. If you extend your fingers all the way, I actually think the RAWM, so some people actually like this kind of feature where the buttons round off. I personally don't grip that far forward, but I think Vaxi on like the Sora, the Vaxi Sora, they made that modification. The hip flare is actually more pronounced on the Viper, but the sides do taper in a little bit more on the RAWM. Yeah, hump profile is actually pretty similar between the two. They both are like ever so slightly rear humped, though the RAWM feels flatter overall. The shorter, sorry, it feels shorter. The RAWM definitely feels like a shorter, more, yeah, like if I were to make refinements to a Viper V3 shape, I think what RAWM did here is a pretty good effort. What else I really like to nitpick about the shape? You do have the kind of ridge does come pretty far back before it starts rounding out here. So you do have, like, this does stay pretty vertical for a lot of the sides here. How does that compare on the Viper? Viper's pretty much, yeah, the same way. Even more vertical on the Viper, I would say. Yeah, button seam is similar. Side button placement is similar, perhaps ever so slightly lower and farther forward on the RAWM. And yeah, let's talk about the next thing here. Let's talk about clicks. The RAWM is using TTC V2 opticals. They're implemented quite nicely in this. I have a couple other TTC V2 optical mice from RAWM here. We have an ER21 Pro in black and in blue. I have quite a bit of variance between these two. My blue one is disappointingly stiff. My black one is so good, I didn't even armor and optical swap this when I disassembled it. So, how's the Leviathan compare? The Leviathan is still very good. They are not as harsh as they are on the ER21, and they have a little bit more of a spongy rebound. I think this is a more spammable implementation, but there's also a crispness to the ER21's implementation that I think I like slightly more, so I might swap these for armor and opticals on this stream. TTC V2s are a more mechanical feeling optical, if that means anything. They're a bit of a harsher click, like a lot of other TTC switches tend to be, but they lack the dullness, the hollowness of like TTC Golds. So they are going to be on, I would say, on the medium stiffness side. Though I do worry with the ER21, this one I definitely would call heavy. So maybe there's a QC lottery here going on. Side play in the buttons, very minimal. There's what I'm actually doing, it's not so much like side to side movement that I'm doing here. Like this is side to side movement. It's more so like a rolling. I'm kind of pulling them apart and rolling them to get that. So this is pretty solid. Yeah, I already talked about the comfort grooves and the buttons. They're very like just human made, which is a really good sign. If you're the kind of person who maybe grips off to the side here, you are still going to have a ridge on the button in addition to the ridge on the mouse itself. Let's talk side buttons. Side buttons are nicely implemented. Build quality on them is insane. It's solidly S tier. Well, maybe not insane. There's a little bit of sink in on the front of the front mouse button and the rear on the rear mouse button. But if you press particularly in the middle, these are rock solid. They are rather light, decently high tactility despite the lack of travel. Yeah, those are fine. I would like to see more travel because that just helps confirm the key press. They protrude a decent amount. I wish they were maybe glossy or coated. These are uncoated, unlike the rest of the mouse. And they are, they do have kind of the highest point is right in the middle. Yep, no real sink into the shell. I guess my only other critique would be perhaps... Actually, you know what? These are pretty well placed. The mouse is overall shorter than the Viper V3, so the Viper V3 is definitely more of a travel to get up to
Are
the
they
buttons.
just plain
The
textured
RAWM
plastic?
is much better placed. Let's talk scroll wheel and middle mouse button. This is using a Raisha Gen 3 optical encoder. So theoretically, you don't have to worry about ghost scrolling over time. The feel of this is incredible. This is an incredible encoder feel. There is no grittiness to it. It feels like you are spinning a wheel with notches in it. It does not feel like there's like gritty scratching between the notches. Tactility of the steps, I would say, is maybe a 9 out of 10. It's very tactile while still being a very, very quiet scrolling experience. Middle mouse button's a little disappointing. A lot of RAWM mice, they use this like plunger that's kind of hollow feeling, sounding, and rather stiff. It's fine. It's better than the ER21, which is very stiff. Not my favorite here. And the rubber on the scroll wheel, it's not an aggressive texture, but it is a nice rubberized feeling. It's a kind of a squishy feeling scroll wheel rubber. The coating. A lot of these metallic mice that are coming out nowadays have a...
Smooth sailing scroll wheel.
I don't know what you would call it. Almost like a silicone-like coating. It's not as grippy, rubbery as something like a Viper V3 Pro, or even the black here is more of like what you would expect from a Pulsar, where it leaves a ton of fingerprints. This feels a little bit smoothed out, almost like a semi-gloss, like a satin spray paint. This surprisingly does leave behind fingerprints too. I don't think my light is doing it justice, but man, it does definitely leave behind a fingerprint that looks like a whitish film. I would give this coating like an, I don't know. In terms of rubberiness, it's only like maybe a 7, maybe even a 6 out of 10. But in terms of, I kind of like the kind of glossier feel of it. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for me subjectively. If you're looking for a more rubbery experience, the Viper is definitely more rubbery. The skates are very good. These are what we've come to expect from RAWM. They have the layer underneath for the white layer underneath for support, and this helps make the edges more rounded. They're very big. We'll get a weight of them when we go into the disassembly. Can you focus, please? They're a little bit thinner than I just reviewed the Luna 33, which that has like similar skates, but they're even thicker. These RAWM skates are solidly S tier. I think they are one of the best skates you can get on a stock mouse. No real complaint there. They didn't have any skiving marks in them. They didn't really take a long time to break in. Yeah, no complaints. Next thing is performance. I've been using this at 1600 DPI. I do not have a ton of time on it. I probably have about an hour in game and about 4 hours at work. I use this on the Luna 33 at work. I had no problems with wireless interference using their big fat dongle here. My only complaint while using it at work, I think, was really just the middle mouse, which I use a lot at work. That just feels hollow, but it's like a solid mouse. The weight is not industry leading. I think I have glass skates on my Viper V3 here. Unfortunately, I have like all modified mice with me. 55 grams of the glass skates versus this was 54 grams. Yeah, I guess we can talk the weight. The balancing is fine. No problems there. It seems to be, let's see, weight seems to be right about there. Yeah, pretty much in line with the sensor, kind of in line with the center, maybe slightly forward of the middle mouse button. So, is it back heavy? No, even no, it is really well balanced. Even like lifting from farther forward, it still feels pretty nice. Yeah. And let's talk value. So I bought this. Was on sale on AliExpress for $11.11 for like $69. Nice. With Rakuten 30% cash back. I think I ended up paying, hang on, let me check. I want to check how much I did pay. I'm going to bring up my spreadsheet because I'm curious now. I want to say I paid like $50 some before Rakuten. I paid here for the Leviathan V4, I paid $51. Wow. After couponing. That means after AliExpress, Rakuten cashback, I'm going to be paying like $36, $37-ish dollars. That's pretty incredible. For that price, maybe that's not very fair to compare. I don't know what the MSRP is. I believe this is on RAWM's website right now for $85. I think it's a solid option at that price. If you want a more harsh click feel from the TTC V2 opticals over something like the kind of dull ratios in Razor mice, that's a good selling point. The weight's there. The shape, I think, is a refinement. It's shorter in height, and it has a little bit more side curvature. Perhaps a little bit of a longer feel, too. I think I get a little bit more thenar contact on the back here. Yeah, I do. Just because it's longer, or maybe because of where I grip it, even though the Viper, I think, has a little bit more hip flare in general. Yeah, it does. Yeah, no real drawbacks that I've noticed, and the 54 series MCU plus the optical encoder, I think, are good selling points. Now, you do have to watch out. The 54 series MCU is not in the dongle. So that means you don't get the massive battery life improvements that you would expect, like from ATK's new Gemstone dongle. Yeah. Oh, having a pulling rate button on the dongle itself is also really nice. That's an underrated feature. Why can't we get that more often? Because that's the next best thing other than having like Razer's pulling rate detection, game detection running. Yeah, so I'm going to open this up for questions. You guys go ahead and ask any questions that you have. I can also do some more shape comparisons if that's what you would like. I think that like is pretty much the meat of the review. We'll do Q&A, then we're going to do disassembly. So another mouse that I do like to compare it to a little bit is perhaps the Centauri S10. Just dimensionally, these are very similar. These are both kind of elongated shapes with a bit of hourglass taper. The Centauri is using Omron opticals, and the sides on the Centauri feel a little bit more vertically flat, with then a very obvious ridge here. Like this is very obvious. You can see that's rather sharp even on both sides. The RAWM is just a little bit more rounded out in many regards. Centauri does not really have comfort grooves. I mean, slightly. The buttons kind of flatten out towards the end, where the RAWM, yeah, they're not really flat. I mean, you kind of have a little bit of bulging towards the top here, and then it's kind of flattish here, and then you got comfort groove down here. Okay, sorry, I had to turn off my music because the pings were too much. I was trying to do a review and you guys were all using text-to-speech. Yeah, I might actually, now that these streams are getting a little bit more popular, I might have to think about throttling that somehow. Oh, another thing, aesthetics. I guess I should have talked about that. Dude, the RAWM Leviathan is friggin' beautiful in person. The blue that RAWM has chosen here, camera really doesn't do it justice. I don't know if I can adjust my exposure here to something a little bit more natural. Not really. Man, it is just, you have almost a color shifting blue that color shifts to purple. The little accent flare that they have here on the side, it's not a sticker. You can't rub it off. It's glossier feeling. You do feel it. It does feel ever so slightly raised. I think it's really tasteful. I actually would like to see that more, especially since they don't have a logo anywhere on it. The ER21's a little bit more purple. The ER21's actually a little bit prettier, I think. And the coating actually feels the same between the two. The RAWM logo is actually, the text is bigger on the Leviathan. That's interesting. And doesn't have one here on this side, which is, yeah. iRock HE3 shape, that's like a Viper V3. Philips mouse, I'm not familiar with the Philips mouse off the top of my head. And I think, why don't we get into the disassembly? Yeah, okay. Alright, now I will begin answering chat messages. Yeah, I need to get good at doing these reviews. RAWM Leviathan, let's take some pictures for Reddit also. I'm going to do an Omron optical swap into this. I do like the TTC opticals. They need a little bit more post-travel and a little bit less harshness, I think. I don't know, maybe it worked well with the... Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know how I feel that the ER21, they feel a little bit more crisp and spammable, even though they're like a little bit heavier. 54 grams. What do you guys think of the 54 gram weight? There's probably some people out there who are like instantly no good. Can you focus, please, camera? There we go. All right. And let's check the skate weight. These skates are probably going to be, I'm guessing, close to 3 grams. They don't have a little ridge to pull up from, so I'm just going to go from the side, which is actually what I do pretty commonly anyway. Oh yeah, that substrate wants to delaminate. Oh, these are good skates, man. These are good skates. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a good skate. Yep, not quite as thick as the Luna Fury that I just had, but these are still really good skates. I forget who, you know, there's probably like skate manufacturers in China, and it's like probably like the same 4 options that they have. 1.33 grams. Yeah, wow, this is going to be like 2 point... What's your guys' guess for the skate weight of both of them? I'm going to guess 2.96. Yep, locked in. Nice, those come off pretty easily too. I like that. I like that. Oops. 2.79. All right, not bad. Get a photo of that. I got a new phone delivered. I bought a used Pixel Fold from eBay for like really cheap. So I need to actually set that up at some point. And I'm hoping that I will then have a better camera for you guys here, because this camera kind of stinks because of the LED lights that I have. So if you wanted to do like dot skates, yeah, you would be looking at like a 51, 52 gram RAWM Leviathan, which is pretty good. It's a real bummer about the no Nordic 54 in the dongle. Like, why? It's this huge ass dongle. Please, just put it in. I don't know what I did with my screwdriver bit. I had a really nice one that I was using. It was like a perfect size. Oh, these are a good size too. You know what, I should see real quick. Can I adjust click feel before I disassemble this? Can I adjust click feel by tightening the screws more? Not that I would want I don't think so. No, they're pretty tight in there. No, I don't think so. I am still glad that they went with TTC V2 opticals. I think that's a good choice. You know, we hear that there's issues with lead times for Omron opticals, so this is a way better pick than a Omron 100 million mechanical. Nice. Oh, I didn't talk about general build quality. Shoot. Well, I took the screws out now. That's not very fair. But it's rock solid, dude. Oh my gosh, that's actually really solid. Yeah, I'm guessing this is going to have like an internal structure to it. General build quality, dang. That was the first thing I should have talked about, rats. Yeah, I don't know, who knows. Maybe I'll do a second take review. I don't know. Oh, yeah, look at this. Look at this. We got a dual PCB just like the ES21. Yes, sir. JST 1.0 connector on the battery. Yeah, that's why this thing is so solid. What's up with this these white goobers here? I got cocaine in my mouse or something. Yeah, it came out, so that's funny. Cocaine mouse. Yeah, TTC V2s, those are... How's the cushioning? Cushioning's actually quite nice. Yeah. I think Omron opticals are going to feel good in this. I hope so. I sure am doing an Omron swap. You know it, Fearless. Let's take a look at the battery. We got kind of like an ATK factory where they put a clip on the battery. That's neato. And let's go to my... Where's my little pry tool? Oh, it's like right in front of me. Although I kind of want to use the plastic one. I'm scared that one day I'm going to like pry up a battery on stream and I'm just going to burn my house down. Oh, I do have calipers here. Haha. Look at that. I could have used these little things. Yeah, where did I put my... Oh, here it is. Wow. This looks like... I don't know what size battery this is. Man, the adhesive that they use, dude. Holy smokes. This looks bigger than a 300. It is a 500. Okay, they did go with a 500 milliamp hour. Why don't we get a picture of that? RTB pinout, JST 1.0 connector. So I'll battery swap this guy too. Maybe we can get a picture of the PCB while we're down here also. Yeah. Let's do a 16:9 aspect ratio. Sure, that works. Look at how far off they put the antenna too. My understanding is that's something to do with isolation. Minimize interference. Battery on top of the sensor for better weight balancing would be nice too. Yeah, I'll for sure do that. Dang, I don't know what I did with that other screwdriver bit. It was like the perfect size. I wonder if I should weigh screw weights, like all of them collectively. Because there are some mice that have a ton of screws, but I don't really think it's one of those weight reduction things that's generally not worth it. Like, imagine if you don't have all the screws in your main PCB and like, I don't know, it messes with your sensor or something. You know, they already do the ring skate there to make the sensor distance to the mouse pad more consistent. Yeah, there's the bottom of the PCB. They went with the smaller PixArt lens, which is nice. 5.4 grams on the PCB would be nuts, but that's only half of it. So we got to take a look at the other one too.
Are you gonna switch swap? Sad
Yes,
face.
I'm gonna switch swap. There we go. $8 grams on a 500 milliamp hour is quite impressive. That might be one of the lightest weight 500, if 500 milliamp hours is to be believed, that might be one of the lightest I've ever seen. I think there was an M-Chose, was it the K7? One of the M-Chose mice had a 500 milliamp hour battery, and it was like, I want to say it was like 8.2 grams also, and I was like, dang. Either batteries are getting better, or people are lying about the milliamp hour rating. So let's get a base weight here. Yep, just the raw base. 776 grams. Change my aspect ratio on my phone, which unfortunately takes like 3 clicks now. Although I got a new phone, so we'll see if that phone's any better. It's a Google Pixel, so I've been used to the Samsung flavor of Android for so long, so we'll see how I like it. I was trying to buy a 150 milliamp hour for my Infic 10R, but I cannot find one locally. Cannot use AliExpress. Yeah, they're tough to find. It's not like it's the whole 3-pin thing. Yeah, I don't know. You might get away with like other computer devices like headsets. The big gaming headsets like what I'm wearing, these usually have bigger batteries, but something smaller like sports earbuds, those sometimes you gotta tweak your search terms. Like on Amazon, for example, if you search like a JST connector battery, you're not gonna get very good results, but if you search like battery for Sennheiser Freedom earbuds, then you're gonna get like more relevant results. Yeah. Okay, I think this guy might have too much foam on him. It's not pressing up all the way. My left mouse has much better play. Okay, let's take a look at the foam here. My proxy service doesn't allow for loose batteries. Yeah, I know, that's another reason why I don't think I'll ever sell. Yeah, I'm looking at, and my camera never freaking focuses, but I'm looking at this foam pad right here. Yeah. It's a little bit squished down. Let's try the other one. I was kind of disappointed with the ES21. Maybe I should have talked about that in the shape comparison. This does feel like an elongated ES21. Shorter though. The ES21 is kind of a taller mouse. Yeah, this does feel shorter. The LED indicator on the mouse is nice too. I like to see that. On the top of the mouse is actually a nice location too. I don't really think I want to get a weight of the buttons. Do we have any foam in these? No. We do have some grease on it, which is good to see. Hard acrylic pad or polycarbonate, whatever. Really nice bendy fulcrum. Nice thin fulcrum. That's decent, yeah. The plastic that they use itself is... It feels a little bit soft, like a nylon. Yeah. Doesn't feel as like hard brittle as just an ABS. Yeah, the fulcrum feels nice though. Yeah, it doesn't take much. Good. Good to see. Side buttons are plastic welded in. That's a bummer. I'll get a photo of that. Paint job looks good. Like, considering it's a black plastic mold originally, They've done a good job with the blue. Yeah, the blue has a metallic sheen to it, but then the coating that they give to it makes it almost look like there's like a orange peel clear coat to it. Yeah. There's the PCB, the clicks. So we're gonna do it this way. You know what? I'll get a weight of this too. Maybe people will like that. Yeah, RAWM uses these little square buttons, which is a bummer. They don't have a lot of travel. So that hurts spammability a little bit. Open that clip up. I'll use tweezers on that one. There we go. Encoder, I'm going to have to take a closer look at that and get a photo. You know what? I should move my screws and stuff to the other side of my... I should do that. Yeah, okay. Maybe after this stream. If I remember. That's the thing. You know, when you say you're going to do something, if you don't do it right away, you just forget. Rip. My coworkers are like, "You're young. You should be remembering this stuff." I don't know. I don't feel like my age is helping me remember things. I feel like life gets more complex and we just remember, there's just more and more stuff to remember, so we forget more. There's just more information. So if you can only remember a finite amount, but you keep getting more information, that means you also forget more things. Check the scroll wheel weight. I'm gonna say this is actually a pretty light scroll wheel. Wow. Yeah. They're using a silicone wheel. So silicone can kind of have a greasy feel to it. I'm going to say 1.69. Wow, 1.36. This is one of the lightest scroll wheels I think we've seen with rubber. That's impressive. There's your TTC V2s and your encoder and your middle mouse. Your encoder is Raisha. And yeah, it has a different pin arrangement. It has 4 pins here. Probably 2 are an emitter and 2 are a receiver. Feel free to focus. My phone just gets like so stuck. And then the like exposure. This thing, it's so friggin' bright here, but it just doesn't is it because of my hand? Do I need to wear like black gloves? Okay, if I put it on a black background, this orbital pathfinder box. Oh! Instead of my pale white hands. Oh gosh, it's so slippery though. No, it still is like underexposed. I don't know, man. I'm not a professional, I guess. Yeah, so that encoder looks interesting. They don't have a height to it. Not that you're gonna swap this though. Like, good luck, buddy. The notchiness to it is really good though. They did a really good job. Dude, these
need a ring light.
Might be one of my favorite. Yeah, well, the thing is, I need a ring light that's bright enough to actually be a work light also, which is not too common. So the other PCB, wait a second, the 2 PCBs together, this is actually pretty light. 8.43 grams split between 2 PCBs, that's pretty decent. Yeah. Alright, why don't we go to... Oh, you know, I'll weigh the skeleton here too with... There's your side buttons. Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. These, like, mini micro switches are very popular for side buttons this day and age. 4.98 grams on the... Yeah, the lighting, it's just a balance between, I need a harsh light because this is a workbench, you guys. I do soldering and stuff here. I need good lighting. But then the harshness means, like, look at how reflective that is. And then I also have, is it not going to show up? Yeah, I have another light over here. There's this light, and there's this light. Yep. I guess I could just show you in the camera, too. Okay, so we were going to do the switch swap. Let's fire up the old soldering iron. Also, ring lights. I wonder if they're any better for the camera lines. See how there's like a blackish line here, then there's one here, then there's one here. Those are the scan lines because of the shutter speed of my camera plus LED lights, PWM, whatever flickering they do, whatever it's called. Oh, good. Lauren's home from work. She's getting a big greeting from the dog. That's funny. Nova. Nova. Did she give you a big greeting? Yeah, she's happy. No, she heard. Yeah. It's quiet in here. She heard the garage. Yeah, let's do some lunch. I can take down the stream. Are you hungry? Yeah. Okay, good. No doubt. No cop. Or no cap? No cop. No cap. No cap. No cup. This pup. Did she get a cup? Okay, good. She got her. Okay, good. Whew. Well, that's one way to desolder a switch. I wonder if my mic's picking up anything you're saying. I don't think it is. It would be funny. She's just talking to the dog. Okay. Well, I think I'll probably have to... Unfortunately, it means I'm going to have to stop the stream short, guys. I won't be able to finish this mouse on stream. I don't know if I'll stream more today. I might. We'll see. I need to play with the dog. I need to get a few things done. It is a little bit. Wait, what did I... Oh, what she was saying? Oh, apparently it was slightly coming through. Probably when I would talk. That's funny. I think when I would talk, then my mic would turn on. There's something called voice gate that I have on my mic where it doesn't turn on until I start talking. Oh, she's scratching. She's scratching. Yeah, the dog, not... Yeah, the dog is right here. Hi, dog. Nah, you got an itchy tum-tum, though, because you're preggers. Yeah. Hello, Nova. Oh yeah, Mangy likes our dog. Okay. I think I'm gonna finish desoldering this and then I'm gonna call the stream there. Oh, yep. Okay, my soldering pump. It's because I gotta clean out my soldering pump, which is not too interesting, and I need to rearrange some stuff on here. Oh yeah, you're standing up, Nova. Hello. Hello. Hello, dog. Hi, pup. You know what's funny is that you're supposedly a small German Shepherd. It's a good girl. Maybe we'll play outside a little bit today. How is it outside, Lauren? It's nice? Yeah. We could do a WALK, or we could play in the backyard. Wait, stream ending, just landed in another sitting. Wait, you're flying right now? Man, I can't use my soldering pump. You hungry? Okay. We're gonna end it here, guys. I'm gonna stop. Maybe I'll live stream more today. We'll see. Who knows? This was kind of a... I'm kind of disappointed with this video, if I'm being totally honest. I wasn't very succinct with my review, talking during the review. And then the disassembly, I didn't get to go all the way through. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll do more later. Maybe I just gotta move on with my life. Probably the latter. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Mr. LKL, Neon Thunder, Mayank, good to see all you regulars. Oh my gosh, dude, freaking YouTube chat just like freaks the heck out sometimes until I click away. Piger was in here again. Piger. Thunderhead, yeah, good to see you as always. Jeebus, yeah, good to see you too. I saw you, a lot of you guys caught the other stream earlier today with the Luna Fury, Luna 33. Yeah, Kevin Jopson. I don't think I've seen you around, Kevin. Not Kevin, it's Kevin. Yeah, okay. Lots of regulars in here. Seko was here. No way, Seko. Sorry I didn't see you. Okay. Bye, y'all.